Fantastic, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. I have Adam here with me from Annandale Chinese Medicine Clinic in Sydney. Adam, how are you this morning?
Doing very well, thank you, Melissa. It's a beautiful day in Sydney, as you can probably see beside me. Behind me, I thought I'd get some fresh chi and some light in the place.
It looks so beautiful. Now, I asked Adam to join us this morning because he makes some beautiful products that I absolutely love and that I stock in the clinic. And he hand makes these. So he handcrafts these products which have therapeutic herbal ingredients. And I've got a few to share. We're going to talk about them. So one of the ones that I really love is his herbal muscle balm. And it's in a glass container. And I've had this for, I don't know, I've nearly used all of it. Actually, it's nearly empty. And last year, I sort of popped my shoulder out. Yeah, I know it doesn't sound pleasant. And the ointment that I used to really help my shoulder heal was applying. Smells really lovely as well. It's not too strong. I use the herbal muscle balm that Adam creates because it wasn't too greasy and it wasn't too strong. And it just worked so well. We're going to talk a bit more about the ingredients there. And then the other one I really love that he makes is this Hempseed Oil balm, which is so popular because people are really interested in hemp as well. And hemp seed is Hejima. No, that's black sesame. No, I've got the wrong one.
That's black sesame, yeah. You've got me, put me on the spot. What
okay, Adam's going to have to correct me. But this Hempseed Oil is also really good. So I use this on anything that's dry. So Adam, talk a little bit about how you got into these events. Tell us how you got involved in all of these products.
In making some things. That's a question that pretty well everyone who looks at my products asks. It's like, well, why do you make your own stuff? Why don't you just go to a store or a supplier and buy something? Isn't it easier? And it actually started when I have a 6-year-old daughter, and when she was tiny, as a lot of babies get, they often have very dry skin on the scalp. They get infant eczema. And, I started putting the normal store-bought products like Sorboline on because that's what was recommended. And then you're thinking about all the different ingredients in these products. And it's like, I'm a herbalist. I need to use my herbalist brain and see what I can come up with. And it's funny that you mentioned the Hejima because black sesame oil is one of the ingredients that I use in my balms. And black sesame oil has been used for centuries in Chinese medicine for skin health and skin repair. And so I started infusing herbs into black sesame oil, herbs like chamomile, calendula, which are all very cooling and soothing and healing. And then the range started to grow from there. So I thought, well, rather than just a baby massage oil, why don't I try making a muscle balm? And that's when I started looking further into the healing properties of things like comfrey, which is in the herbal muscle balm, this one that you love. Comfrey is used in both Western herbal medicine and Eastern herbal medicine. And it actually dates back to the ancient Romans, and the Latin meaning of the plant comfrey means to come together. And they used to use it for healing bones and fractures. And so it's a very deep penetrating herb. But these days it's not recommended to take it internally because there are ingredients that are no good for the liver. So that's why we only recommend it for a topical use. But I infuse the comfrey herb that I get from a nice organic producer. I infuse it into the black sesame oil for about 3 months, and then I extract it. It's a cold infusion process. And then I combine that with a beautiful beeswax that's unfiltered or it's filtered but unbleached, sorry. So you don't get that bleachy smell residue you get from a lot of cosmetic waxes. And then I put the essential oils in it. And in that particular balm, there's frankincense, clove, a little bit of black pepper, which gives it a mild warming sensation. The frankincense is very anti-inflammatory, so it's great for soothing stiff muscles and those achy joints. And then I put a little bit of vitamin E in it, to stabilizer. And yeah, and There you are. And it's because of the beeswax in it, it's much better for the skin than using something that has a petroleum jelly base or a petroleum oil base. So things like Tiger Balm, even though it's a good product and it's very popular, it's still a petroleum jelly-based product, which is Vaseline. And so it's not good to put on your skin for a long period of time because it actually blocks the pores. And it's a crude oil-based product. And so it's not that good for the environment. And so trying to be a little bit better for the earth, I wanted to make sure that I was using as natural products as I could.
That's interesting, because with using something with petrochemicals and the way people put on Tiger Balm, which is often daily or nightly or twice a day, often if they're in pain, you know, and has that deep penetration. So your skin is probably absorbing a lot of the chemicals in that sense if you're not careful. Like, your skin is a living organ and it will absorb. And we have to be mindful about what it is that we not only eat, but what we apply on the skin too, I think, right?
Oh, that's absolutely true. And it doesn't matter whether the product you choose is a natural product like mine or something like Tiger Balm or a physio cream. Excessive use over time will be absorbed through the skin. And most of those products you'll find say maximum use 10 days in a row. And that is so that you can give your system a break and give it a rest. And it's for that reason, herbs like Calendula, which are in physio cream, I put Calendula in my lip balms, but it's obviously a very low concentration blood mover. And so you've got to be careful in pregnancy because Calendula moves blood. And as you know, in Chinese medicine, we don't want to move too much when you're pregnant. It's the same thing with the comfrey that's in my muscle balm. You've still got to be careful and not apply it for an extended period of time. But if you're in pain for longer than 10 days and you're not getting any relief, then it probably means you need to get some acupuncture or something to supplement your topical therapies anyway.
That's a good idea, actually, because sometimes people come and see me, they tell me they've been living in pain for maybe 2 years. And I'm just like, common. What? I'm sort of in shock, and I think, like, how do you tolerate that? And I think it is correct. Some people bolster themselves up by using topical solutions and ibuprofen or Panadol Osteo without actually taking a pause and realizing they actually need some intervention.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's common for people's pain levels to become their normal. They think, oh, this is what I need to deal with. This is what I need to live with on a day-to-day basis and manage it. But if it's going on for that long, there's obviously an underlying reason and you need to get that addressed.
It's really interesting. I didn't know that Calendula had slightly blood-moving properties, because I used to use a cosmetic product on my face, like Calendula as a moisturizer. And that was just the only pretty much the primary ingredient for it.
Yeah.
I won't mention the brand.
In low concentrations, it's very good for the skin because as a blood mover, it's going to increase circulation to the epidermis. And so you're going to have oxygenation of the tissues, which is great for skin repair, which is why I put it into my lip balm. But if you're having it in larger quantities, if you're slathering it everywhere, or if you're having calendula tea a lot, then you just need to be mindful of the other possible impacts of it. Just like any medicine, herbs need to be treated with care and respect.
I love that. Yes, herbs definitely need to be treated with love and respect. And I think herbalists understand this, but a lot of times people just think herbs are just very safe when they find them on the shelf or buy them from vitamin places or from the pharmacy. They don't realize that, because they don't necessarily come with a particular warning. They just assume.
Yes, that's so true. Very true.
Well, I wanted to ask you one more about one of the ingredients in the herbal muscle balm, if that's okay.
Of course.
Cocoa.
So cocoa resin, it's from a tree that is native to South America. It's very similar to myrrh in its properties. So myrrh in Chinese medicine is called moya, and it is also a blood mover. It's very good for reducing inflammation and pain. The challenge with using the essential oil in a product is it's actually very viscous, and trying to get a good distribution, even distribution throughout the product at the final stage of blending can be a little bit tricky. Whereas the Copper oil, which has similar properties, isn't as viscous. And so that's why I ended up using that one.
And it has such a beautiful smell. I think it adds a really beautiful tone to the aroma of the oil. And then the wintergreen is the slightly mentholy feel that people love about having that alleviation.
Yes. So wintergreen's quite common in a lot of products. You'll find it in a good old woodlock oil. I don't know if you use that in your clinic often. Yes. So.
Well, I use it mainly on patients when they have like a cold coming in and they've got tight necks, stiff necks from a cold, because that's how my mum used to use it on me, drown me in woodlock if I was getting a cold or a flu. So I'm quite reserved on the woodlock oil because it's so strong in smell.
And it's easy. It certainly clears the sinuses, but it's easy to overdo. It's a very potent oil. But the wintergreen and peppermint are a classic combination for reducing tightness in muscles. You'll find it in lots of formulas, whether it's a traditional herbal formula or Western products. You'll find those two together. And because of their cooling properties, you'll find that that's reducing that heat you get with acute inflammation.
Okay, that makes sense now. Just love it. Such a good product. Mine's nearly empty. I've got to refill it and I get another one.
Should we talk about the Hempseed Oil balm? Because you said that you love that one as well.
I love this one too, and it is really popular because I think with more people becoming aware of hemp seed or hemp protein with vegans, and the profile of hemp seed is going up and up, and more interest in it. Tell me a bit about this one.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Hempseed oil that I use in this is an organic certified oil. It is different to hemp seed oils that you might ingest because the extraction process is different. So, I've had patients come into my clinic and they see my big bottle of organic hemp seed oil sitting on the shelf. And they're like, oh, is that something that you take, for pain? I'm like, no, different type of oil. Don't ingest that one, please. But I decided to do something with hemp seed oil because a lot of lip balms, even my other herbal lip balms, people sometimes don't like any flavor. They don't like any particular sensation. Peppermint's a great example. People either love peppermint in a lip balm or they really dislike it. So I wanted to do something that was totally neutral. And I did a little bit of research on the healing properties on the skin of the hemp seed oil. And it's really high in a component called linoleic acid. Now, this is something that is good for skin repair. And the hemp seed production process itself, it's a very fast producing crop. So it's actually better for economics for people who want to actually produce hemp seed as an alternative crop. But because of the components in it, it also requires far less pesticides. And so for something that is going to be going on to your lips, there's much less chance of those residual chemicals being left in the product. So that was my choice for the hemp seed. I then also blend that with the same unbleached beeswax. And then it's a little bit of vitamin E. It's also got some organic cocoa butter in there just to give it a nice texture on the lips. And this one, it's a good all-purpose moisturizer. You can use it on the lips, dry elbows, cracked heels. You can use it on, if you get a little bit of winter eczema on the cheeks, you can always put a little bit on. So it's a good all-purpose one. Because it's unfragranced, very neutral. You don't have to worry about smelling like a peppermint farm.
Yeah, because it takes at first it feels like a little bit of a strong, unusual scent. And
yes.
I noticed I was like, oh, that's a bit too strong for me. But then I noticed that every night before I went to bed, I would crave it. Like, I've got to find that lip balm. Where's that lip balm? I'll go look at my handbag, you know. And it was like my body just really, really got used to the actual texture of it. And yeah, and at the moment where things are dry and we're washing our hands so much, I was actually using this a lot, especially when the clinic, when we were washing our hands so much and wearing gloves and also being exposed to the chemicals or using wipes to clean everything so often to disinfect through this pandemic. I use this a lot, even when my fingertips start to feel numb. From the chemicals, the sensitivity, I just would just lather the tips of them before I went to bed. And I found it really softened the skin and really neutralized that sensation I was getting from the properties of this balm. It was really good. And I'm glad it's in a big jar now.
Well, it was by popular demand because I was only making it in a 12-gram jar, and people said, I'm going through it too quickly. Put it in a bigger one. But that, I guess how would you describe the scent that I think of? It's sort of grassy, and that's the natural scent of the hempseed oil itself. And it's I love the color actually. It's such a lovely green color. Not that it goes green on the lips, but it's you know, I think it's a really good product, if I say so myself.
I think so too, and I think it's quite unique. I am seeing a few more products being sold for cosmetics or for balms and things like that containing hemp. Because like you said there, I did a bit of research because I was kind of curious, and as a balm for your skin, I can't remember what it was, but it was very even. Like, it's not going to if you have oily skin, it's not going to irritate it. If you have dry skin, it's not going to irritate it. It's going to find the right balance for your skin, which is quite rare, because even things where people use jojoba oil or rosehip oil, those more expensive argan oils, all these kind of oils can still not suit everybody's constitution very well. Whereas the hemp seed balm or the hemp seed oils actually works with the skin very well in a unique way.
And you raise a good point that not every product is good for every type of skin. The same with the sports balms. You know, the herbal muscle balm is different to the red sage balm, and that's got different herbal properties in it, because not everybody will suit particular, or their presentation won't suit every product.
Tell me about the red sage balm, because I actually haven't stocked that yet, and that's only one of your new products. So tell me a bit more about how that one.
Sure. So this is the red sage balm here. Now it's actually a little bit, the aroma is a little bit stronger than the herbal muscle balm. The active herb that I put in this one is salvia root, or in Chinese medicine we call it Shen. So in Western terms, it's red sage. And again, the root of that plant is a blood mover. Now, we would often use Shen, as you know, for internal medicine. We would use it for improving menstrual cycles or for reducing pain, because it quickens the blood. But it's also great for doing the same thing if you apply it topically. So if you've got bruising, if you've got an acute injury, you've had a bit of a tumble, and you know, I get football players who have corked their leg and make a big bruise. So make sure you get that red sage balm on it, and it helps to reduce the longevity of the bruising and improves the healing. Similar to you know, other products on the market that are petroleum jelly based. It's going to move the blood, but again, I've infused the herbs into the black sesame oil. It's got the beeswax in it, and then it's got the wintergreen, the peppermint. I've also put some camphor in this one and a little bit of menthol. So it's going to give a real cooling sensation when it hits the skin.
Oh, I have to get some. That sounds really nice. I think it's like yeah, that sounds really good. And I think a lot of people don't realize that I was thinking about this the other day when a patient came in, and I was prescribing some internal medicine for them. And I said, you know, a lot of this stuff comes from martial arts, because you got to think about the Chinese medicine. They're not just, you know, treating diseases, but there was a lot of kung fu, and there was a lot of qigong, and there probably would be battles and wars, and you know, soldiers had to get healed quickly so they can continue to the next battle. So the Chinese medicine also extended to traumatology, and then also topical use of the herbs in a way to get all these bruises and things like that treated very quickly and efficiently.
Absolutely, absolutely. A few patients I've treated for acute sprains, so you know, good old ankle sprain. and doing a poultice of the comfrey along with the Shen. So I get the Shen roots cut up very fine, and then we make a poultice and we strap that to the ankle. And so, right, you need to leave that on for 3 or 4 hours, and then I send them off with little bags to make the next poultice for the next day. They find, or they report to me, that it certainly reduces their pain and seems to improve the whole healing process, which is great. It's a little messy, I will admit. You've got to, mortar and pestle is the old-fashioned way, and grind up the herbs and get a little bit of oil in there. I give them some black sesame oil to make it nice and moist. And you've got to be able to sacrifice a couple of tea towels as you wrap around the site. But that's the expanse of herbal medicine, as you say. It's not just internal medicine. There are all these traditional methods that I think we need to be more confident in using as well.
I think so too. I haven't really explored that as much as the poultices, but I can think of a few people now that probably would benefit even from a little bit of, when a flare-up comes up for certain conditions or swelling, you can definitely see the benefit of it. And it feels good. Like, you can feel it's working, like it's penetrating in a different way rather than just using a bit of cream or just waiting for your body to heal. You have this addition aspect of herbs coming on. I mean, some people tend to use plasters as well. Like, there's been a bit of a trend to herbal plasters, from everything from muscle aches to low back pain to vitamin distribution internally as well. And I've had one where someone gave me and said, this one works, and it's like for weight loss. And I was like, oh, let me have a look at its ingredients as well, see what's in them. And they say, oh, it works for me. So I think also being mindful, like if we're being mindful of the food that we eat and understanding the delivery of these things through the skin is really important.
Absolutely. But as we said before, we've always got to have the caveat that understanding possible side effects of the herbs. So getting advice from practitioners such as yourself and myself is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And then this was a new product that you made, the sesame hand cream. I'm going to show you this. It's completely empty. I just smashed it in like 2 seconds because it smells so good. I found myself just sitting there going, oh, it smells so good. And just like lathering myself with it. I was like, oh, I finished the whole jar. It's so good. It smells divine. It doesn't smell like sesame at all. What is in this one?
So I actually started making that one. It was one of the very first products I started to make. And when I had a little market stall in my local area, it was one of my most popular products. But then I took it off the market for a little while to focus on making the muscle balm. And I kept having people come back to me every now and then, oh, you're stocking sesame hand cream again, you're stocking it again. I'm like, oh no, I must get to that. And then when we sort of hit with the pandemic and everyone's washing their hands 20 times more than what they used to, as you were saying, all the cleaning products that people are using, particularly in a clinic, people's hands, including my own, were starting to really suffer. So I thought, now's the time. This is the sign. I need to bring back the hand cream. So it's black sesame oil. And this is one of the products where I have the calendula infused into it. Mm-hmm. And it's the same process. I get the organic flowers. I infuse them in the oil for about 3 months until I extract it. And then I have some beautiful essential oils. So that one actually has some frankincense in it as well. It also has, I've got to look at my ingredients list now. What have I put in my hand cream? I've gone a bit blank. Here we are. It's got copper some lavender, which is something that you can probably smell as a dominant note in it. And a little bit of myrrh in that one as well. So people say, oh, is this a Christmas thing? It's got frankincense and myrrh in it. It's like, oh no, but they're traditional herbs that we use in Chinese medicine.
I do. That is so true. I never thought about the Christmas connotation, but no, it's just blood moving herbs to circulate microcirculation. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So how did you hone your skills? I mean, like, even learning to infuse something for 3 months, like, where did that all come from? I know you said you started from wanting to make, like, was it your own massage oil or
Yeah, making my own oils to help with baby massage, and also for our daughter when she was a little one.
Yes.
And I think there's just a side of me that the creative side, and I've always really enjoyed putting together the herbal formulas and working out a little bit of this, and what was the outcome of that? Did we have a good result? And when you're creating any new product, it's a lot of trial and error. It's not something that you magically go, oh, look, yay, I've made sesame hand cream. I think I burned about 3 pots, and as I, was working out how to actually correctly combine the ingredients, and then working out how to preserve the sesame hand cream. That was a big learning curve. Just researching, going to cosmetic education providers, absorbing their information, because the last thing you want is a product that, 3 weeks later someone brings back and gone, oh, it's gone moldy, and like, oh, sorry about that. So, it does have a preservative in it, but it's working out what the correct preservative is for that particular product based on the pH of the product. So there is a little bit of science into that. But as I said, I think that's my creative brain going, okay, let's work this out. It's fun. I love doing my clinical practice, treating people with acupuncture and massage, and Gua Sha and cupping. But then some days are like, I'm just going to work on my products, and let's come up with something to find a solution to a problem that I see commonly in the clinic.
That's incredible. I really love how it's become a very strong passion of yours. And one quick question, because you just mentioned Gua Sha. Do you use one of these when you Gua Sha? Which one do you use?
My favourite one nowadays is actually the red sage balm. This
is
one,
it?
which I'll have to send you some up so you can try it out.
Right.
The reason I like using that is the Danshen actually has stronger blood moving properties than the other herbal muscle balms and the comfrey. And way back when I was in uni, and I did my last big written project on Gua Sha. And everyone's aware of the lovely red petechiae that you get from doing the Gua Sha. But you want that petechiae to come up, but you also want it to move quickly. And so with my understanding of the mechanics behind Gua Sha, I've preferred to use this one so that you're not having people with the Sha or the petechiae for 5-7 days. You're trying to move that on quickly, because if you move the Sha, you move the pain. So the Gua Sha itself, the treatment effect is going for a couple of days after the treatment itself, but you also want to move it as quickly as possible.
Yes, this is really interesting, because I see a lot more people or other body workers using similar techniques with rock blades or whatever it is they're called, or devices and it's such an effective system. But I love the idea of also complementing it with something that's going to actually help the process of healing a lot better. Like you said, not having that residue bruising and these red marks, or this that can be quite unsightly for people. But then it's such an effective technique, and so especially this time of year because of the wind. Like we've had a lot of wind up in the last couple of weeks, and people coming in with tight necks, issues like that, or those sorts of things.
Yes, tight necks, upper backs, shoulders, they're probably the most common areas that I do Gua Sha on. Every now and then I'll have someone with some knee pain, and so doing the gallbladder channel, which is down the side of the body, covers the iliotibial band, which is a cause of a lot of knee pain. If you just get a nice Gua Sha stroke down the side there, that's really relieving for them as well.
Wow, I haven't tried that one for a while, but I will. I always forget these techniques and have to come back to them.
There's just so much for us to try and remember, isn't there? It's like, okay, how much can I squeeze into one treatment session?
So do you have any new products coming up that you are thinking in the back of your mind that you love to create, or are these your babies for now?
Look, these are my babies for now, but it certainly doesn't mean that the creative brain's not ticking over all the time and trying to work out what the next best thing's going to be. You know, I think I would love to get some variety of lip balms out there, particularly coming into winter. People's skin is really dry during winter, and you know, my lip balms, you know, tend to fly off the shelf. You know, so it's finding some variety. I think one of the challenges I have with lip balms is people like them for their kids, but increasingly I'm seeing people or kids with sesame allergies, and because my main ingredient is black sesame oil, I've got to find an alternative. The younger ones that I've tried the Hempseed Oil balm on for their lips, they're not keen on it. I think they prefer something with a fun flavour. So maybe I need to look at like a strawberry lip balm or something.
Strawberries always a winner with little girls. I love that.
Yeah.
Or vanilla. Oh no, yeah, those ones. Yeah, strawberry, because you have a vanilla one already.
I do have a vanilla one already, but I think they like the real sweetness of those types of flavors.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your beautiful products and learning so much about how you've handcrafted these, because obviously you make them with a lot of time and effort and research, and I know that they've been really helpful for my own needs, and I hope they're going to benefit people that are listening. So I'll have these in stock in the clinic, but if anyone out there is also wanting to try and find out more information, especially if you are very keen on organic handcrafted small business, and also with a lot of knowledge from a herbalist themselves, because there aren't many products, I believe, in Australia that actually are made by herbalists themselves who actually understand every part of their ingredient, then I highly recommend that you jump onto Adam's website, which is annandalechinesemedicine.com.au. And if you are in Sydney, or you know anyone in Sydney who needs some work who would like some help with pain, or would love to see an acupuncturist and a herbalist, then I highly recommend that you go and see Adam in beautiful Sydney for a treatment as well.
Thanks very much for having me, Melissa. It's been great.
It's really fun. They're just such great products, and I always look forward to see what the next one is. So thank you so much for sharing us.
Thanks a lot. All right. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.